Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I have something very pressing that I want to talk about when it comes to Pokemon Go. Recently, Niantic issued a whole bunch of different bans to a lot of legit players, and yes, there was nothing that any of these players were doing to warrant a ban, but due to an error with Niantic's cheat detection system, there were a lot of false positives and a lot of players who were not spoofing or cheating or anything like that were seen as doing such. And one of the players that was actually banned falsely was of course Cheel, which is one of the bigger content creators on this space. And no matter how you look at it, this is going to be a bad look for Niantic and Pokemon Go. But I do want to give credit where credit is due. I do like that Niantic was very quick to communicate regarding this issue, and they are doing everything they can to rectify it. But that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. Let's roll the intro and get right into it. And how's it going, everyone? It's me, It's Count, here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. Today I want to quickly talk about the big issue that happened over the past couple of days. A lot of players who are fully legit were seeing that their accounts were falsely flagged as spoofing accounts. Now, of course, cheating and spoofing has always been a widespread issue with Pokemon Go pretty much since the beginning, and there's always been a back and forth debate on whether or not spoofing is something that should be a part of Pokemon Go, but I'm not really here to talk about that debate. I do want to talk about Niantic's efforts to combat cheating and how those efforts could ultimately affect legit players. Of course, when it comes to Niantic, their stance is going to be that they would want to combat cheating of all kind. And we've seen that pretty openly discussed by Niantic, and it just seems like whenever they do something to detect cheaters, they ultimately will affect legit players as well. Ultimately, there are going to be false positives every time they iterate on the cheat detection system. And I really think this is something that they have to be careful about, considering that their customer service is not always the tip-top shape. I mean, a lot of players that I know that were false positives, like I knew they were 100% legit and I could vouch for them on that, and they were being flagged as cheaters and getting their accounts banned, and it took absolutely forever for them to get their accounts back. Because, of course, when it comes to Niantic support, they aren't always going to be as responsive as other game studios. So I do think that this is something that Niantic has to be careful about, because even though they are retracting a lot of the bans that happened over the past couple of days as a result of this error, those players are players who were not able to play the game over several days. And of course, with the recent event that's currently going on, that means they're missing out on Dialga raids, they're missing out on Cranidos and Shieldon spawns. I mean, it's just a really bad time for these players. I don't know about you, but this was kind of a shocker for me, seeing a whole bunch of players reporting their accounts getting banned even though they play legitimately. It was kind of an eye-opener for me personally. Like, at any given moment I could find my account getting banned, and I honestly don't know what I would do at that point. Obviously I would appeal that ban, but of course a lot of these players who were getting their accounts falsely flagged were appealing their bans as well, and they were getting automated responses, or they were getting responses saying that, well, they in fact were actually cheating when they were not. If I were to give a simple solution to this whole ordeal, it would be to ramp up the testing that's going on at Niantic. I mean, this whole thing would have been avoided if Niantic had some adequate testing for their cheat detecting system. And I'm not knocking on the QA testers over at Niantic, but I do think that more resources should be dedicated towards internal testing. That way, anytime they iterate on some of their current systems, then they would not have issues like these crop up. I've been saying this for a while now, but it really seems like a lot of the issues that are happening around Pokemon Go and a lot of the other Niantic games just comes down to just inadequate testing. And yeah, I really do think that a game is going to be a lot better if their testing squad is a lot stronger. It really is the last line of defense for a lot of these issues, and I really feel like because the game has been so buggy for a long time, including their cheat detection system, it really comes down to their testing team. And I really hope that Niantic considers that and they just pump in more resources to their testing team. I think that could benefit the game a great deal. So really, from my point of view, I do want to applaud Niantic for making an effort to improve their cheat detecting systems, but at the same time, I really want them to be a lot more careful, because I dread that one day I will be a false positive, and there is a likelihood that I may not get my account back, even though I completely scrubbed my gameplay free of any sort of TOS breaking activities. I have never touched a spoofing app of any kind, I don't mess with multi-accounts ever, and if anything, I will drive to 100% IV callouts from my local communities, but overall, I just try not to do anything that would violate the terms of service. And I really hope that for a lot of players, they're doing the same, but naturally, there will be players who do things that will break the TOS. I mean, not just with spoofing, but I know plenty of people who play with multiple accounts. I know players who share their login info so that they could do lucky trades. Different things like this will be commonplace in Pokemon Go, and I cannot say that I am completely innocent of some of these activities in the past. So, you know, it's always one of those things that's on the minds of Pokemon Go players. How far will Niantic go in trying to keep their game clean? And how many players will be affected by that? I mean, I think spoofing is the biggest egregious thing that players could do, maybe followed by defit use, but of course the debate has constantly raged on whether or not these forms of gameplay are even considered cheating, but if Niantic deems it so, then we have to accept the fact that Niantic is going to try to combat it, but of course a lot of players, a lot of innocent players who play the game legitimately are going to be caught in the crossfires of that. I think the ultimate solution would be, of course, if people just did not spoof, then Niantic wouldn't try to continuously iterate on their cheat detection systems, but I know how unrealistic that is. There's a lot of people who enjoy this game through spoofing, and I legitimately think that's never going to go away. But of course, Niantic is going to continuously fight that, and I really hope that they continue to improve the system so that more false positives don't ever happen. Again, I do want to give credit where credit is due. This did turn out to be an issue with their cheat detecting systems, and they recognized that, and they openly communicated with the community that they were trying to fix it, and they were trying to get people who got their accounts banned back to them. But it's like I said, this game is something that requires a lot of daily focus, so people missing out on 1 or 2 days of daily activities could be very detrimental. I know a lot of players who were banned were considering taking a break because missing out on a couple of Dialga raids and then having their daily streaks broken was just a very sour note for them. Of course, a lot of people were riding the highs of Pokemon Go Fest, and with Pokemon Unite coming out, it was a pretty hefty distraction for a lot of Pokemon Go players. So I don't know, maybe this sort of error is somewhat well timed, and it's just something that's an eye-opener for Niantic, but also not severe enough where the entire Pokemon Go community was affected. I know a lot of players like myself will consider themselves fully legit only because they do not spoof. But what is Niantic's goal? Like, what do they want to see with Pokemon Go? Like, I'm really trying to figure out what Niantic's philosophy is when it comes to Pokemon Go, because recently they've been going through a lot of hot water and a lot of controversy because of a lot of pandemic bonuses going away. But rather than listening to the players, it really seems like they want to keep Pokemon Go close to their original vision. But what does that original vision entail? I mean, yeah, it's just a lot to think about when it comes to Pokemon Go, and I'm just really curious how it's going to be in the future. But in any case, yeah, I would like to know if you were one of the people that were affected by this error. Definitely share your thoughts down below. And I know a lot of players have received this sort of thing in the past. I would like to know your perspective as well, how you got your account back, different things like that. I know one particular YouTuber has kind of made a name for himself as a result of something like this, and it is of course Lucky Buns. And I do appreciate that he gives a lot of perspective on this. I really do think you should go and check him out, mainly because he does have a lot of great content, and on top of that, he does have some unique experiences based on this one particular thing. So it's definitely worth checking out, but in any case, yeah, let me know your thoughts regarding this whole issue down below, and yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I am Count Jinsula, be safe, have fun, and I'll catch you all later.